I have wanted to talk about the Umbrella Academy for a long time. It's a fascinating take on the flawed superhero genre exploring family trauma. And Elliot Page's character has always been one of my favorites in the show. So in this video, I wanted to explore why that is, as well as talk about why I am so excited for season 3. In case you haven't seen the Umbrella Academy, the basic gist is there was an event that led to miraculous births of 43 children around the world. 7 of these kids had superpowers and were adopted by an old man to be trained as a superhero team named the Umbrella Academy. As you can imagine, it is actually not great to be raised as some sort of super soldier. So the family has been shattered over the years, and they are only brought together due to their father passing away.
He was a bad person and a worse father. The world's better off without him.
So even though they are all family and grew up together, the series manages to feel like found family because it is almost more meaningful for the siblings who manage to create or keep a strong bond with each other after everything they have been through. It is an active choice rather than a sense of obligation. It's a super messy series, and I love it. Now, let's talk about Elliot Page's character, Viktor, and get into why I love him so much. Over the course of the first season, we watch Viktor struggle being different, as he's the only one in the family without any superpowers. They are regularly left out and, in general, not treated as part of the family at all.
I'm afraid there's just nothing special about you.
There is also friction between Viktor and the rest of his siblings over a book he wrote which detailed his experience with the family.
You got enough material for your sequel yet?
Which I found really interesting because it's understandable Viktor's siblings would not want aspects of their life broadcast to the world, but it also reminds me how abusive families will put a huge emphasis on not airing dirty family secrets, because reputation is everything. It's a tactic used to keep victims trapped because it makes them unable to reach out for help. Which Viktor was absolutely a victim. He was intentionally manipulated his entire life to suppress who he is.
Now, you have to take your medicine. It'll help calm your nerves.
This really resonated with me as a black sheep of a family and as a trans person. After all, there's a reason that people feel like they need to hide part of who they are. In season 2, we get to see real growth for Viktor. Without his memory and now being on a new timeline, he was completely free to explore who he really is without all the baggage from his family.
All I needed was a couple of I love you.
So I'm really excited that they've announced that Viktor will actually be trans in the show for season 3. While Elliot Page had expressed he would be comfortable reprising any roles he had previously played, even if it was a woman character, I was really hoping the show would have the character transition because it completely fits with the character and their continued exploration of identity. It's quite common for someone to discover a new aspect to their identity, and it creates a ripple effect as you start to question a lot of assumptions you made about yourself as you grow up. For example, I never liked anything associated with me and being a man. It just always bothered me and felt kinda gross. And when I got comments about feminine traits I had, I would feel kinda happy, even if the person intended it as an insult.
Nice dress.
Duncan.
But other than noticing my feelings didn't seem to line up with the expectations of people around me, it's not something I had the words to express, or knew what I could do about those feelings. Until I realized I was autistic as an adult, which led to me finding out a lot more about myself. And eventually that led to hearing about experiences that lined up more with my own. My gender is something I'm still exploring, but it's very freeing to have a word to better describe myself like non-binary. So I'm really excited to see a main character in a show transition in a later season. I think this may be a first, and it's something I really relate to. I am honestly surprised at just how excited I am about this. It's maybe the first time that I have personally felt this invested in a character. It's like I feel seen a little bit.
Christ on a cracker!
I am used to being more skeptical when I see representation that relates to me, especially with how autism is generally portrayed. I obviously don't know what Umbrella Academy is going to do yet, so it could end up being awful representation, but I'm really hopeful based on how the character has been handled up to this point, and that Elliot Page is in the role. I know there are other good examples of trans representation out there, like Euphoria, which I haven't seen yet, and we have even seen characters transition before, like the special for Rocco's Modern Life. But the Umbrella Academy feels special. Viktor is a main character in a live-action series. Not only that, but it feels safe to say this change is being done to support Elliot. It's not like Netflix knew Elliot Page would come out as trans when the show started, and I doubt Viktor would have transitioned otherwise.
What? Nothing, you just seem happy.
It is heartwarming to see support to a trans person publicly like this. Don't get me wrong, I'm not applauding Netflix here, because they don't exactly have a great track record with everything involving trans people, but I will celebrate a trans person getting support. Like, it might seem small, but it was great to see the credits for the Umbrella Academy updated right away to reflect Elliot Page's new name, something that sadly is not often done. And I understand that obviously Viktor doesn't transition in the comics the series is based on, but this is the beauty of adaptations. While I can empathize with the character you really related to changing and being disappointed in that previous version you love still exists. Adaptations are a chance to shake things up, and I think the best ones manage to keep their main theme and even strengthen them through change. By being able to compare multiple versions of the same story, it can widen our understanding of its meaning and the experiences shown.
You're lucky, you know that? You got a blank slate. Start over.
To me, this is somewhat the nature of comic books too. Of all the mediums, it rehashes stories probably the most, and is constantly doing new reiterations of these same characters.
Hey there.
So, how are you hoping the series handles Viktor? I'm not sure what I'm hoping for, but I think I would prefer if they don't even really address it, and Viktor is just Viktor now, and everyone is just accepting of that.
This family's amazing.
Yes,
Okay, let's not get out of ourselves.
But at the same time, having it be more openly discussed within the show itself can be great too. All I know is I am just so incredibly happy for Elliot Page, and I hope that there are many people out there who feel connected with this like I do. I know this is not as important as many of the challenges we are facing, especially in recent years, but sometimes we just need something to celebrate, no matter how small. To all my trans siblings out there, you are all wonderful, and I hope you all are safe, loved, and accepted.
The privilege I have is really because of so many trans women of color who have consistently put their lives on the line throughout history. You know, when we think of Marsha P. Johnson or Miss Major